intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Boxingvoice.com.
You need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I want to be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold the record for pay-per-view.
My job, I know my job, I know my situation. I want to fight.
Production.
But it's gonna be very difficult for both of us.
Boxingvoice.com.
Yes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. I am your host, Ness GTO. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at Ness GTO. Today, we're here to talk a little bit of Adrien Broner and how he and Mikey Garcia opened up a 5-1, meaning Broner is a 5-1 underdog. Bet 100, win 500. And we're going to talk about Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev, and the fact that it's being rumored by Chris Mannix and other social media sources that it's only done about 130,000 buys. That's 30,000 less than the first time, which came in at about 160. So that's definitely a topic to talk about. And we got to talk about the guy that goes secretly unnoticed, I think. I don't know why. The most popular guy on social media, the most active fighter, talks the most shit on social media. It goes unnoticed because I think it's the language barrier, you know, the fact that he's Latino. But I mean, this guy's he's coming at Lomachenko all sorts of ways, and none other than Rigondeaux, Guillermo Rigondeaux. He's just coming at Lomachenko. He said he wanted to meet him at 126. You know, my producer just sent me an article saying he's going to just call his bluff and say, fuck it. He'll fight him at 130. I mean, we're going to go over his social media here. So if you're, listening to this on iTunes or any other podcast sort of thing, and you want to see exactly what we're going to show you, head on over to YouTube. While you're here, hit that thumbs up button, make it blue, and share the show. But we're going to show you exactly how Rigondeaux has been shaming Lomachenko. I mean, the social media posts on Instagram about Lomachenko being a little blonde boy and Bob Arum being like, it's better to show it than explain it. But we got other topics as well. More news on the World Boxing Super Series for that Muhammad Ali trophy. Definitely want to keep you up to date on that, because once that thing gets cracking, man, all those fights are going to get interesting. And the reason we're going to talk about it is now because I guess what you would call the main seed gets to pick their opponent. You heard me. Yes, they pick who they want to fight. So that's kind of interesting to see who gets ducked, who doesn't, and just how things play out. But speaking of things playing out, let's head on over to the Golden State to see how this weekend's been going.
Vasyl Production.
This is a beautiful performance against a very tough guy in Michael Johnson. How do you feel about it? Fuck that. Conor McGregor.
Boxingvoice.com.
You know me, Larry. From a wicked entrance, from a flip over the rock into a knockout. Now, when here the main thing is, I just hope the guy, I wish.
Boxingvoice.com.
Yes, the hipsters here. Haters beware. It's been a while. We didn't do a show Thursday. That felt very odd. We didn't do a show pretty much on Saturday because there's really no big fights. So it's good to be back in the seat. Good to be back in from you guys, the fans, the listeners, the callers, here with you, Ness. It's just good to be back. We have tons of good topics to get to. I think the first topic, the whole Broner being a heavier underdog than Conor McGregor in terms of the betting lines, is just insane. I can't wait to delve into that. Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux, you know me, a little hipster love. I love that fight. Anyone that's around my own weight class, I have a personal connection to. Just can't wait to get into all the topics. Can't wait to get to the World Boxing Super Series as well. And can't wait to chop it up with the callers and Eunice.
Well, let's get right into that, man. How is it that a guy that has no amateur fights, no professional fights, no professional boxing fights, forget the fact that he's being sanctioned for this super fight. We should also, I guess, maybe that's a separate show. I don't know. Leave us some comments in the comment section. Let us know. Do you want to do a separate show on Bernard Hopkins? Have you happened to see the interesting quotes Bernard Hopkins had to say on this Conor McGregor Mayweather fight?
I remember hearing he was
No problem, Matt.
You have those quotes. You have those quotes. Okay.
No, I do, but what I'm saying is do the due diligence, and we'll figure it out off air whether or not that deserves to be a separate topic. If not, we'll bring it back around on Thursday. Okay. But it really has to do with our very own topic and the fact that a boxer with so many accolades, I mean, what, 3 divisional world champion Adrien Broner is, and he's being a 5-1, and Conor is what, a 4-1?
Yes.
That's a little insane. Could you explain it though? Because maybe there's some logic behind this madness of numbers.
Okay, the logic behind it is that I forget what the initial lines are. The lines change. I think everyone sort of knows that. If you do not know that, now you do. Betting lines do change depending on who is getting the majority of the bets placed on. For example, Conor McGregor is getting over 90% of the bets placed on that bout. So over 90% of the bets placed on Mayweather versus McGregor are placed on McGregor winning. So therefore, the lines have moved closer over time. I believe originally he was a much heavier underdog, but now he's a 4-1 underdog due to the amount of betting going into it. Why do we have 90% of the bets being on McGregor? I think that's probably a topic for maybe a different show. And then we have Broner versus Mikey Garcia. A lot of people, and again, I don't know what the opening lines were, but I would assume a lot of people are betting on Mikey Garcia. So therefore, Mikey Garcia is becoming more and more of a favorite in that fight, which he probably was beginning. But 5-1 seems a little bit wide. I would assume that we're going to see that line maybe go wide and then shrink back when we get closer to the fight. That line is going to change. But again, betting lines change, and they change depending on who is betting on who, or how many people are betting on who, to be exact.
Now, Broner's saying that Vegas is going to lose a lot of money. Obviously, it's an opinion. It's a preference.
They're going to make a bunch of money on the Mayweather-McGregor fight, so it doesn't matter what they lose on Broner if Broner wins.
Exactly, because again, it's really hard to pick him in that fight. I mean, this is our. Well, damn, we already had. I guess Danny Thurman wasn't even this close, right? Like, this is a more competitive matchup. I think more people had Thurman as a favorite in that Danny fight. Or actually no, because I mean we're talking betting lines.
Like
I mean,
public perception, obviously, like what the fans thought.
Yeah. Yes, public perception, but not the betting lines. I remember betting lines being like 2-1, right?
I believe so, and I think you're right. I think that there's a lot more boxing fans going Thurman, and then with this fight, I think the boxing public is very split. You have a section of us that say Broner is something that Mikey Garcia has never seen. He brings power that Mikey Garcia has not seen. Broner's going to give Mikey Garcia a lot of issues. This is Mikey Garcia's toughest fight. While you can maybe say that this is not Broner's toughest fight or toughest opponent. So that could maybe incline you to pick Broner. And then you have people going Mikey Garcia saying Mike Garcia is a pound-for-pound level talent potentially. He could be the next guy in that sort of weight class in terms of the Mexican demographic. This could be his sort of fight to get over in terms of the casuals. Again, Mike Garcia is a world-level boxer. But again, the public is split on this fight, but the lines don't have that. The lines have Broner as a huge underdog. I think that's just majority of the people placing money don't want to place it on an unknown. Broner is always an unknown. Even when he's awesome and phenomenal, we go, man, that's vintage Broner. Why can't he do this all the time? We say that because we know we don't get that all the time. And people are less likely to place bets on not a sure thing. The reason why we get bets on McGregor is because McGregor has done the impossible multiple times. You know, McGregor is the type of guy, and I know that, you know, boxing fans may not like this. And again, I'm not picking McGregor to win by a mile. But McGregor's done impossible things. He has said impossible things and done them. There's a little more of a track record of, man, McGregor's going to do this. That sounds insane. And then he does it. Broner doesn't have that track record. So again, there's a lot of factors going into this, but I know a lot of our listeners are hating this headline that we have on the show. Who's a bigger underdog? Because they're like, of course it's McGregor, and McGregor is more likely to lose to Mayweather than Broner is to Garcia. But in terms of the betting line, he's not. McGregor is less of an underdog than Adrien Broner, and that's just a reality.
Yeah, I don't understand why anybody would hate it. I mean, I think that it's odd. I think that the boxer being more of an underdog than the MMA fighter is worth a chat.
Have you seen that picture go around social media where it has a list of all of Mayweather's past 8 opponents and the odds?
No.
And then you have McGregor at the top. And McGregor is more favored to win than guys like Marcos Maidana, Robert Guerrero, Canelo Alvarez, even, I believe. It was some very odd numbers were out there. So it's Vegas, and do you want to think Georgie Porgy, the mafias are trying to rip you off? Yeah, you can think that. These are odds makers. They're betting brokers. Of course they're going to try to rip you off. You should know that going into a bet.
Definitely. Or just be like me. Try not to bet. Speaking of betting, HBO took a bet on this last pay-per-view and the one that we're going to discuss now. Moving on to our second topic of the day. Remember to hit that thumbs up button, ladies and gentlemen. Helps with the visibility of the show. And obviously lets me and Matt here know that you are enjoying the topic. So Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev got their rematch on. Kovalev didn't get the, revenge that he wanted, and Ward did get some sort of vindication. There was some sort of outcry, right? I can't say it was a big one, but some people believe some of the shots were low, and that
there's a noticeable outcry. Not necessarily big, but it was noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
So Twitter and Instagram were upset for about a week.
Yeah, for about a week. I don't know. I think that's a lot. But we're here to discuss the actual amount of pay-per-views that was sold. And while we can't give you a actual amount, we can definitely give you some speculation and rumors. And from some pretty good sources, Chris Mannix, is he still with SI or is he now with USA Today? Who's he with? I mean, I know he's with Ring and he does he's obviously a
freelancer.
And
But he's primarily with Yahoo Sports, and yes, you are exactly right. He is reliable.
Yes,
he's not necessarily. I wouldn't put him up there with guys like Lance Pugmire or even Dan Rayfield in terms of if they say it, I'm pretty sure that they're right. If they report numbers and facts and figures, I pretty much assume they're right. Chris Mannix is a level right below that, but he's still absolutely credible. And I believe him on this 130,000. Pay-per-view buys for Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev 2 compared to 160,000 pay-per-view buys for the first fight. I think that's completely realistic. This fight felt lesser than the first one. It did. It felt smaller. There was less people in attendance even. It was noticeable the lack of hype and build-up for this fight.
Yeah, it sucks because obviously that was a rematch. It had a lot of build-up, but
you had two top 10 pound fighters on the card. You had Rigondeaux and Andre Ward, and you can throw Sergey Kovalev on the card too. Let's
not cry over spilled milk. Let's actually point the finger because I know for a fact that there was a face-off. The set was set up and everything. I got sent footage. I couldn't obviously release it because the person would lose his job that worked in the studio, but there was a face-off. And, whoever's fault it was, I'm not here to play mitigator or get involved, but I am pointing the finger at both. We didn't get a face-off, which is part of the promotion. Now, is that going to, automatically go to, translate to pay-per-view buys? Absolutely not. But it means something when you don't do it and the public knows that there was supposed to be something, right? At least the hardcore fans knew. Articles were written, podcasts were
throw in the press conference. Throw in the press conference for Kovalev leaving that as well. It was just
Exactly what I'm saying. We're pointing a finger at both guys.
Yeah, all parties involved in this fight made this fight such a toxic event. It did. I'm glad it's over. I know that's probably being a hater, but I'm glad that the Ward Kovalev saga of boxing is over for now. Hopefully, hopefully we don't need a third fight. I'm good. I'm honestly good.
Is it really over? I mean, according to Kovalev, he got hit low.
You got hit low once. But does that mean they're going to change the fight? No. The athletic commissions have a long storied history of not overturning obvious errors and egregious decisions by officials. So I'm not going to assume they're going to change this at all. Just like I'm not going to assume they're really going to change the Rigondeaux fight, even though HBO wanted Rigondeaux to get that win taken away from him in a heartbeat. I don't think it's going to happen. Athletic commissions move at a very slow pace.
I agree. Now, these pay-per-view numbers, obviously, a big percentage of Ward's purse comes from Rock Nation, if not all of it. So does HBO care that they only did 130,000? Are they still in the Andre Ward business?
I don't know. And again, we've heard rumors about what Andre Ward is going to do next, whether he's a free agent, who he's going to be signing to next if he's a free agent. Said rumored promoter he may go with, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Top Rank. It has an ESPN deal. Does that play a factor? I don't know. There's a lot of things I just don't know about Andre Ward and what his future is. He called out Anthony Joshua, for God's sake. I mean, I don't think that's realistic, but that's what he said. So I can't even go by what him and his team are saying. Virgil Hunter's out there saying that, yeah, Andre Ward can definitely outbox Anthony Joshua and peddling that like it's a realistic option. So I don't know what Ward and his team have in store for him and his future. God knows. He could retire. He could move up to cruiserweight. He could do a lot of things. I have no idea.
Well,
I mean, do you have an assumption about what he does next?
Not what he does next, but I'm gonna say that that this definitely puts a strain on a relationship. I mean, if you're HBO, you're thinking twice. You have to be thinking twice about continuing to air this guy, let alone on pay-per-view.
And I also think that I think Ward is a type of guy where he just creates issues. Maybe not to his own, not on purpose. He for whatever reason he has created issues where he's gone. HBO does not seem that fond of him. Rock Nation has overpaid him, in my opinion. So I don't know where Andre Ward goes next. But Andre Ward is, without a doubt, right now, #1 pound for pound. He's without a doubt one of the best boxers in the world, and it's unfortunate that he's in this situation, to be honest, and that we have this perception of him. It's unfortunate.
Well, I'll tell you what's fortunate. Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields won some sort of silver title her last time out in Detroit. She's probably got around 3 fights, and the rumor is she might even be scheduled already. I mean, I guess the producer could check this out, but the rumor is she's supposed to be fighting someone like Nikki something for the full version of that WBC. And I'm only even bringing this up because she's actually helping out Cyborg. And since my co-host is like, an MMA fighter,
who is fighting for the UFC Women's Featherweight Championship come July.
And since Matt's an MMA moonlighter, I said, you know what? This is interesting. Clarissa is actually already in Brazil. Like Cyborg flew her out, and Clarissa's going to work with Cyborg in Brazil. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Where I train out of and where TBV is holding the Team America Border Wars camp, Clarissa's lead sparring partner is there, and I knew this was going to happen about a week ago. This is about a week ago. This is the good thing about hanging out in gyms, bro. But I can't wait till this girl lets me put her on tape, man. You guys are going to see like a modern day. You're gonna, I mean, obviously everyone's gonna correlate her to Ann Wolf because she's a black woman with dreads and pretty big and strong. But she is, man, she is the definition of slick. I'm serious. Matt's laughing. I bet you Matt lands Friday, guys, I guarantee you he won't get in the ring with her because I won't. I've already told her I won't get in there with her.
Yeah, I'm good, man. If you won't, I'm good.
I will not. I guarantee.
Through my manhood.
I guarantee she parries your fucking jab with her right hand and just straight rights you there. Yo, dude, she's no joke. I couldn't believe what I was seeing when she was sparring some girl. Some MMA girl came in there with some fucking quads the size of a horse, B. And I was like, damn, this is about to be crazy. And then her trainer started to record, and right away they was like, nah, Shay stopped and was like, look, no recording. I had already tried to ask. She said no. So, yeah, we just got to see it, man. Very, very slick, man. I felt like Bruce Leroy in Last Dragon and shit. Like, could you teach me some moves? Because, damn, she ain't no joke. But, yeah, I wanted to mention that, since we got Mayweather McGregor and the whole boxing.
Yeah.
What?
Just shout out to them.
Yeah, since we got the whole Mayweather McGregor and the boxing, kind of mixing, this is another mix. And it's badass of Clarissa. I mean, for so long, Cyborg has had this. I mean, I wonder how good Cyborg is at this point, because when I knew her, she was, fighting free on Showtime, really on Strikeforce, and she already looked 30-something then. So, 10 years later, who the fuck knows, right? But she always had this thing about her, this Gennady Golovkin thing, like the most feared chick thing. So, for Clarissa to be in there working with her is badass. Plus, knowing that Clarissa gets in there with this slick ass, big ass heavyweight, wow, that's impressive as fuck too.
I'll put in reference. Since you used to watch back in the Strikeforce days, Chris Cyborg has not lost an MMA fight since then.
Yeah, but she popped positive like 3 times since then.
Once, and that was in Strikeforce. Actually, she popped in Strikeforce.
Pop, and we talking PEDs. So moving on, Lomachenko, Rigondeaux. I'm gonna go ahead and put up Rigo's social. While you give people a little bit of the backstory while I find his social media, because this is where the fun starts, is on his Instagram.
Well, basically, Rigondeaux, after this Moises Flores knockout, which was highly impressive, has been calling out everyone on social media. I'm using that Google Translate all day, and putting out some really, really good tweets out there, and obviously calling out Lomachenko. Said 126. Then Klimas, I think is his name, is Lomachenko's manager. He came out in the media and said, no, we're gonna do 130. We're not gonna go back to 126. And now we have Rigondeaux calling the bluff. So I think that hopefully we get this fight. Imagine this fight on ESPN, because we know Lomachenko's next fight is going to be on ESPN in August. So I'm down for a Lomachenko-Rigondeaux fight on Big Daddy ESPN network. That sounds like a great idea. That sounds like an amazing night for boxing fans.
So first things first, what I want to do is screen share Rigondeaux's Instagram and just show you how entertaining this guy is. He's got 127,000 followers. Remember the other day we were doing a little quick survey in terms of followers, and Dylan White, who's calling out Andre Wilder and offering him $3 million, only had 72 to 76,000, I believe. And Rigo, who's been around longer, obviously, and accomplished more, so makes sense to have at least or almost double. Should be more, to be honest with you. But we're going to go ahead and get into this first one. Check out this first one, Matt. This is him saying that he was at the buffet the day of the weigh-in in order to make weight and to be able to gain weight to get close to that 122. Now, remember that before we seen this video, I told you already that when I interviewed him, he told me, look, bro, I'm 122 right now, and we're announcing the fight. So it's hard to get to 126, let alone 130, but the man wants a challenge. So this was a sped up video of the entire day, him eating at the buffet the day of the weigh-in. Interesting, right? But this is where it gets even better. I mean, check this out. You got to love this. Do I need to zoom it bigger, or is that, can you laugh? Do I need to, what do I got to do? Talk to me.
I got the perfect thing for that. Hold on.
Exactly. So obviously this is a podcast, and what I'll tell you, this is another post by Rigondeaux, and it reads, "This is as real as it gets. Bob," and he's talking Bob Arum, "won't let his kid play with me because every time that happens, I end up kicking their butt. But he much rather let them play with someone they look good bullying around. Rigo, hashtag Rigo Loma 2017. So what we see, obviously, someone in his team or himself got very creative, and they made like comic book type real bubbles and photoshopped Lomachenko's face onto a little boy and Bob Arum onto another man, and they're playing with like some blocks, and obviously you heard what he said. So the comic bubble for Loma is, "But Dad, I want a very expensive toy to play with, like a PS4." And Bob Arum says, "Son, this is much easy to play with, and you will look good doing so." So, I mean, obviously what they're trying to pitch here is, look, we're going to give you a bunch of soft fights. You're going to look the greatest, and we're going to stay away from Rigondeaux, right? That's why you're looking good, because you're staying away from Rigo. So, like Matt said, Rigo over the weekend was obviously saying 126, and he got tired. He's got another post, which I want to get to, where he says he's standing by the phone. Check this one out. Who's this under the bed, Matt? How could you not laugh at this? How could you not get behind this guy? He's got a picture of Lomachenko hiding under his bed with another little comic bubble. And the comic bubble reads, "Is Rigo still calling me out?" You know, I mean, look, we talk about other guys who on social media call each other out. Like when Crawford got at Danny, and, you know, whoever gets at whoever, we make a big fuss. I mean, Dylan White offering, you know, Wilder 3 million. People were up in arms about that. We need to start getting behind Rigo. He's demanding this fight. Here's another post, and this one reads, apparently hashtag Sergey Salido, and he's talking about Orlando Salido, who was in negotiations with Lomachenko to have his rematch, and I quote, "is hurt and can't fight Vasyl Lomachenko. I want you all to know that I am ready to fight at 126 tomorrow morning. If Top Rank and Rock Nation want to make history, have Loma and I fight each other, and let's see who is number one. Hashtag Team Rigo is ready. Hashtag not fighting for peanuts anymore. I want only the best. Bring it on. Rigo versus Loma. Hashtag Loma versus Rigo." Another call out there. Check this one out, because it's everybody could get it. He's the true can man, because Broner says anybody could get it, but I mean, I can't say that. Broner has gotten in there with people, whatever, and probably has had more opportunity. I mean, you know, that was Rigo's downfall. Why the fuck didn't he sign with Heyman? There was that rumor too. I remember him being at one of the fights and everything. He said they were in talks and he didn't do it. You know, he probably priced himself out. I have no clue, but check this one out. This one's going out to Leo Santa Cruz, is that what I'm assuming? This is the only cruiser in and around his division. And, you know, he's saying basically, look, Rigo versus the Frog. And you know, in Spanish, being called a sapo is a little worse. And we'll let our Latino callers call in and correct me if I'm wrong. So he says the Frog, I mean, Rigo versus the Frog Cruz coming soon. And then he's got another picture of his frog, of his father. Wait a minute. What the hell? I don't know if Rigo knows that this is supposed to be a picture of the deceased in the coffin, or is he saying that the dude with the sombrero was actually Leo Santa Cruz's father? But that's just a picture. But over the top of the picture of the dude with the, well, actually Frog with the sombrero, there's another caption bubble that says, "I told you, son, don't fight Rigo." And then obviously there's a frog in a coffin X'd out by Rigo. And we're all to assume that that is Leo Santa Cruz. So the post reads, and I quote, "Sapo Cruz will never fight me." Sapo being Frog. "I can care less about what his father has to say about me." And he put no with the frying pan egg emoji. And so I'm assuming he says no chicken. I mean, you know, the egg comes before the I don't fucking know what that is. Really close. I'm assuming it's no chicken. That makes the most sense. But that's about it on terms of his Instagram. Basically getting that, guys. But entertaining for me. You know, we like I said, we've reported on multiple social media what would we call this? Call outs, I guess, or I don't know. The point is, it's time to get behind it, right?
What are you asking? What? Oh, social
yeah, like social media call outs. We've reported on this before. So what I'm saying is, I mean, maybe we should get behind Rigo. Right? I mean,
well, he's offering to go to 130.
Exactly.
That's
I mean,
according to one of his managers, and if that's true, then I mean, Lomachenko is then really out of excuses, isn't he? I mean, if he wants to fight someone that elevates your brand, your level to some degree, you have to fight a great opponent. And right now, you have guys that are busy at 130. Miguel Berchelt is busy. Jezreel Corrales is busy. You can say they're ducking. You can say they're busy. I don't care. So he's just out of options right now. Gervonta Davis isn't going to take that fight right now. That's just reality. If Rigo is willing to go up to 130 and have no warm-up fights at that weight class, if I'm Lomachenko, you take that. Take that fight right now. Rigondeaux is a older man. God knows if he's still in his prime or not. I know he got a first-round knockout in his last fight, but still, this is the time to take him. When he is moving up 2 weight classes, no warm-up fights, and you can sort of dictate the terms from that. If I'm Lomachenko, I take it.
And this is actually what I've never wanted. We've talked about this fight before, and that's exactly what I don't want. I didn't want Lomachenko to move up, Rigo to move up so much, because then when he loses, it'll be a question of weight. And because of who he is and his style, no one is going to hear that. No one's going to try and hear, oh, he lost because he was out of his division. It's just going to be like, that's it. He finally lost. Let's get rid of him for good. And that's what I'm afraid of. But moving on to the World Boxing Super Series, invitations have gone out to numerous publications, Boxing Voice included, and it is on the live draft gala that's going to be held in Monaco. Monaco being one of those small, intimate boxing locations that Gennady Golovkin and a few selective others have been able, and I guess fortunate enough, because the people that put on those fights out there, they pay a lot of money to fill up that little measly 900 seat arena, and they get big names out there. Like I said, Gennady was there, Martin Murray, others. I don't know. Look it up. The point is, this is where they're going to hold the Super Series World Boxing, I guess, draft gala. Matt, I mean, how can we explain it? You watch other sports. How do drafts normally work?
Well, usually drafts work. Well, depending on what you do, you have a lottery. So that may be a little bit different. I forget how this draft is set up exactly.
Well, I did send you the info, but during a 15-minute TV live broadcast, which is going to be hosted by Melanie Wingear, or whoever the hell that is, all 16 participants will be on the same stage to pick their opponent for the quarterfinals of the revolutionary bracket-style elimination tournament. Matt, that's what I like. You know why? Because we've been here before with Bucksino a couple of times, and once it's televised, you get invested. Look, like Lenroy Thomas, right? Long before I knew that he was trained by Dan Birmingham, long before I knew him personally and knew that he was trained before by Dan Birmingham, I bumped into him and was introduced to him by his trainer, Dan Birmingham. And that's how I found out that, Lenroy was Jamaican and that he was down in Florida. And then that Keith Thurman's trainer actually had a heavyweight. But this was in the Bucksino. He lost to Fedosov. We also, got to get a couple of other names out of that one. Someone named Daniel, whatever. But the point is, tournaments always invest the viewer. After, and especially with something like this, once we get a draft going, we get to actually see these guys. Then it's kind of even more interesting than just that first preliminary fight. Because, again, they're investing us in the production. We're getting to be a part of what's going to take place before it actually takes place. And, I've been always an advocate of extra. For me, give me more and I'm happy. That's why I love all the social media content. I love all the networks putting stuff out on YouTube and using the internet as a tool.
Well, very quickly, just to talk about the draft. usually how other drafts work is you have teams picking coming players out of college, right? That's usually how drafts work. But for this, I'm under the assumption that whoever they are, the organizers of this, whether it be Richard Schaefer and company or whoever, are going to seed all 8 fighters in their respective weight classes. So we have the super middleweight bracket and then the cruiserweight bracket, and they're going to seed them. So 1 through 8, 1 being obviously the highest seed. And I assume from what I'm reading that the top 4 seeds will pick their opponent. So number 1 seed is going to pick his opponent first, then number 2 seed, then number 3 seed, and obviously the 4th seed is left with his opponent. And that's how it will work. So that's how this draft will become. What's the date again? July something? July 8th.
July 8th?
Yes. So that's how it will take place.
So, yeah, I mean, they got a couple of champions, which is cool, and it's going to produce.
They have 4 champions.
Yeah. 2 WBAs. I know George Groves is in there, and then they got like 3 cruiserweight champions. Your boy, Gassiev, or Marat Gassiev, everybody, not everybody, but a couple of people know him, and that's what I'm saying. This is going to help build some sort of fan base for them, hopefully. Now, I'm worried, though. I really am, because of the, I guess, union that Schaefer has with some of these other promoters involved in this. Like Sutherland and Kelly Sutherland and stuff. I'm wondering, where is this going to be televised? We haven't got any of that information. You know what I mean? So is this going to be an Eastern European thing like Box Nation, Sky Sports only, or are HBO, Showtime, and some of these U.S. networks going to be able to watch this? Is it going to be a thing where we can stream it? Maybe we finally get some of this straight to app content or website content that we can probably subscription-based pay or something. I don't know, but
remember, I was under when we first did a show on this, when we got all those press releases about it. They had that press conference. Were we not under the assumption that this is basically like a piggyback program in a way, that these fights are going to get scheduled through their promoters and such, and then this tournament is placed on top of that? You get what I'm saying?
It doesn't look that way, though, bro. I mean, again, if you read the press release, the top seeds are going to get to pick their opponents. So, I mean, obviously promoters will be involved, but I mean, ultimately the corners are making the decision with the fighter on who they should get, because it's going to be strategic.
True, but again, it's like you said, I don't know how it's going to really come to fruition. And especially with modern day boxing, with so many entities involved, I don't know. I don't know. It may end up where not the entire tournament is not on one network. That's very possible. That
would suck. That's what I'm saying. They need to build, and the way
we've had that. We've had that before.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen a tournament be on a network.
Not with the tournament. I mean, with just overall
Showtime. I've never seen a tournament share the television rights. Not yet. And correct me if I'm wrong.
True, but I mean, we've seen promotions share television rights in some way. So that's very possible that this is, in a sense, almost something like that, where this is a promoter licensing out these fights to the highest bidder on whatever network. That's very possible. We may get something like that.
Maybe, yet the problem is the only promoter is Sutherland and Schaefer. Schaefer, who's been out for forever and now back. But,
I'll put it this way. If the rumor is true, with Alexander Usyk rumored to wanting to be in this tournament, if we get K2 in the mix, then it really gets interesting, because then we get, like you said, we get this multitude of promoters with these different interests, different alignments with different networks. God knows how it works out. But hey, this could be a huge moment in boxing where all these different corporations and entities and promoters and networks come together for this tournament. I mean, if Usyk does join, you get a unification of an entire division in one tournament. That's huge.
If Usyk wants to join, it's a good thing. I hope that the rumor is true, because there's 3 champions in the cruiserweight division in this tournament. I never heard of Doritos. But I don't know. It looks like it's spelled Doritos, but it's probably not pronounced that way. I'll just get Jeffrey on it.
He's good though.
I guess he's like
Dorticos.
yeah, Unair Dorticos, but looks
Dorticos.
like Murat Ghazi, who's the IBF, and like I said, that dude Dorticos is the WBA, and Meredith British from the UK is the WBC. So Usyk, I mean, hell yeah, he's the WBO. It would only make sense if he stood out. He should get the same, shame and humiliation that Lucian Bute got for not getting into the Super Six either, and staying on the outskirts and kind of facing whoever, while Andre Ward and everyone else went through the gauntlet. But any other headlines you want to add before we crack open these phone lines?
I mean, do you want to talk about the Adrien Broner weight penalty at all?
Yes, 500,000 for every pound. It's about time someone, put some sort of clause in the contract with this kid so that no games are played. I had the privy. I was privy enough to be at the. Were you there? No, that wasn't you. That was Adam, obviously. Well, we were at the New York press conference, and he said it. Look, I got too many kids, too many baby mothers to be missing weight. I need that money, especially 500,000. So I think that, because I know how broke I am, I'm assuming that 500,000 is enough motivation for anyone to make the weight. What do you think, though? Does he actually make it now with this penalty attached to it?
Yeah, I think he does. I thought he was going to make the weight regardless. But again, it's not necessarily if he can make the weight, it's how does he make the weight? Does he make it in a healthy manner? Does he make it in an efficient manner? That to me is more of a important question that lacks really a solid answer, and one we really can't deduce till we get to maybe a weigh-in or something along those lines. Is how well did he cut that weight? Because again, he entered this whole training camp overweight. He may say that's not true, but that is true. That he came into this entire training camp overweight. So hopefully he gets the weight off and he does it well. Because I want Broner at 100%.
Well, I mean, look, he's consistently going to yoga, that's for sure. He's taking it serious. He's in Colorado at the Olympic Training Center.
I love that.
It looks like he's taking it serious. But since we're on the Broner thing, his trainer, Mike Stafford, has a quote out there that says that Garcia, Mikey obviously, is no Marcos Maidana and no Sean Porter. And I'm going to just say, yeah, he's absolutely right about that. But I don't know that means Mikey isn't some sort of threat or danger.
True, but I mean, I feel like everyone's been saying for a very long time that there's this blueprint to beat Broner. And Mike Stafford just throwing out the idea that Mike Garcia does not fit that blueprint. So therefore, why is Broner such an underdog? Why is the media counting Broner out? Why are the fans counting Broner out? I can see why he thinks that and why he's putting that storyline out there for headlines to sort of create another counter storyline to that one.
Yeah. All right.
It's all gamemanship through the media and trying to dictate who the public favors, who the public thinks is going to win, who the public likes. All these comments from coaches, managers, promoters, fighters, it's all this chessboard to get that.
So, we obviously but I think that we should mention Mr. PBK. Oh, you don't want to mention your boy Josh Kelly, Mr. 13 left hand knockout himself. Let me go ahead and put this on. We'll go to his verified Instagram, show you a quick little replay of Mr. PBK. It's our recommendation that you try to watch him whenever you can. U.S. listening podcast listeners, catch him on the replay on YouTube or on social media afterwards. He's just a prospect at the moment, but he's trained by Adam Booth, who is a very respectable, world-renowned trainer, and he's doing what he needs to do at this point. PBK stands for Pretty Boy Kelly. Last name Kelly, first name Josh. Here we go.
We've been very impressed with his agility, his movement, speed of foot so far.
And trust me, as a fighter, you see a fighter do this in front of you, it's intimidating. It puts you under pressure without you even being hit. Oh, nice jab turned into a left hook.
Traveling out with a left hook here.
Now, I mean, look, I have no clue who that dude was. And a lot of those shots seem to be blocked.
We barely know who Josh Kelly is.
Maybe this guy wanted a way out. But PBK has been, this is not my first time watching his highlights, right? Like, because he's been in there with some people that he's been able to finish. I don't know. Again, these are domestic level fighters that they're finding him. I'm not, that. I don't know all the UK fighters out there. So I have no clue who he's been in the ring with, but he's been looking good thus far. So you got to keep an eye on him, right? And they definitely develop their prospects a little quicker over there. Like, we are never going to forget George Groves and James DeGale going at it so early. And we got another one coming up with O'Hara Davis and someone else going at it early. It's a theme in the UK, and you got to respect them for that. So we're just giving you a heads up on, Josh Kelly, so that it doesn't come to you as a surprise, right? I mean, Matt, anything else you want to add to any headlines for today?
No, I think we're good. We can go to the callers.
Well, that being said, you guys know what time it is, and you know the number. The number is 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 time if you want to talk to us, the host, or you want to get it off your chest and give us your, opinion on boxing and the current state of it. Voice your opinion here on the Voice of the People hotline. Once again, that number is 1-425-569-5241. Skype callers, add Nestor Gibbs on Skype in order to participate with the show. And now word from our sponsors.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Going out to Coach Mitty in the UK. If you haven't caught Coach Mitty, check us out on Patreon, brother. He went a couple of rounds with 2 different sparring partners. The coach showing that he can also give direction and show you how to do it. Coach Mitty, what's going on, brother? Pleasure being with you over here in New Jersey at the Jersey Boy Boxing Club the other day, man. Great for you to come all the way from the UK and hang out with TBV while we're getting ready for this border wars, getting all pumped. But what's going on, brother?
How you doing? Thank you for having me in your gym, making me feel welcome. It was really nice watching you guys do your thing, right? And I see you guys definitely ready for your border war, so that's good. Just a quick thing, actually, touching on something you said earlier about that girl that spars with Clarissa Shields. I actually saw her before you guys came in, and she was doing a little bit of shadow boxing and hitting bags, and I could definitely tell that she was like levels above, like, anyone that was in the gym at the time. And she did look good, and exactly like you said, I would not have wanted to jump in, and she looked like a level above anyway. But it's linked also to something that I've seen over social media. I think you posted something from Heather Hardy, and I feel that as a boxing fan, we're missing an opportunity to give women the shine, right? And having our boxers going into MMA to get publicity and to get probably better money, it's scary. And I'm sure that many of the boxer girls will just do the same thing, because clearly they get better attention and they probably get better money in MMA. So we should really get behind our girls fighters and just, keep them within the sport of boxing. So, that's really what I wanted to say, because there's not much thing to talk about except from the Josh Kelly. I didn't see it, right? Because I was in a flight, but I know about the guy, and he's really, really good. So, I urge you guys to follow him, because he's a prospect, but he's going to turn good. Yeah, and obviously he's fighting like lower level opposition right now. But it's a bit like, I guess, an Adrien Broner when he first started his career. First 2 or 3 fights, they don't put them there with champions, right? They build them up, but they're going to build him up quickly and just keep watching him. It's good.
All right, brother. Well, thanks again, Coach Mitty. You know, I'm going to say about Josh Kelly that I'm just going to stay, I guess, invested in him because I'm impressed. You know, obviously, Coach, you've been in there in the gym with us, and it's not easy. Coach actually has 7 fights himself, so credit to Coach, fighting with 10-ounce gloves, no headgear and everything. So the man is no joke. But I think that Josh Kelly is no joke. It's one thing to land, 30, 13, 8, 9, whatever number you want, unanswered left hooks on a heavy bag. But to use it actually in a fight and get the knockout, it really doesn't matter what level of opponent you're in there with. The speed and velocity on those left hooks, I was impressed because, again, I'm throwing punches myself. I know it's not that easy, especially not as many and in the speed in which he did it. So I'm impressed. I mean, again, we always have to factor in the level of opposition. That's just the obvious. Matt, you want to add anything or go to another caller?
Where do you rank Josh Kelly in terms of prospect?
Too soon. You know, I need him.
I mean, like we need a ranking system similar to like our DVR live fight party. Like we need that for like a prospect too. Like
I don't think so. I think it would be unfair to put that pressure on prospects at this point. I think right now all prospects are that. That's what the word means. Look, we're peaking in.
There's some prospects that are much more important to watch and for some reason mean more. Come on.
Well, I think it's our job, as the host of this show, to kind of navigate our listeners in the right direction. Kind of weed them through the grass of all the prospects out there. Not everyone should get their time. And that's what I'm saying. Like Josh Kelly being able to throw 13 straight left hooks. You know what? Look at him, because it's hard to fucking do. And if you don't think it is, well, then get up, go to your garage and try and throw 13 left hooks at your heavy bag and see if your, technique, form, and stamina is going to be there. So be impressed by the kid. He's only a prospect. Fine. We're going to watch him, try and attempt to do that versus someone on a higher caliber. But until then, we need to be impressed with his technique, his stamina, his movement. He's looking good. I mean, he is looking good. The footwork, all that.
100%. Very quickly, I just want to say the UK does a great job of exposing their prospects. And I don't mean to use that word in a weird way, but like they give them a lot of exposure. Guys like Josh Kelly in the US wouldn't get a lot of television time. But then again, you get organizations like Top Rank, which they've thrown Shakur Stevenson and Michael Conlon at really high marquee positions on cards. So hopefully we get more of that in the U.S. These prospects need exposure. Guys like Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, they didn't get a lot of exposure. Deontay Wilder didn't get a lot of exposure till maybe fight 20-something. Guys in the UK get exposure at fight 4, fight 3. So that means a lot.
Yeah, like some of these other guys had a little bit of steam with the PBC. Barrios, good PBC pushing, and his push hasn't fully digressed as like everyone else's. But a guy like Jamal James, after losing to Uldani Gulgas, we haven't seen him. Now that could be totally part of him and his team deciding, let's pull him back. Let's work on some things. Who knows? But I can mention other prospects. Caleb Plant, where's he been at? Yes, he's gotten a lot of TV time, but is it consistent?
And headlining, he's headlining cards.
Yeah, but is it consistent? And that's what I'm just crediting you and your point about the UK, how they consistently keep their guys on television no matter what level. I mean, look at the Box Nation Instagram or the Matchroom Instagram, the way that they consistently promote and push their fighters. They're putting out content every couple of hours.
If it's a fight going on, it's every couple of minutes, if not more.
They're dressing it up, bro. They're doing overlays with words. They're using music. They're not playing. They're being creative. Last time they had Anthony Yardy punching a fucking punching thing to measure his punching power. Like they're doing things.
That got me hyped. That got me hyped. I'll be honest.
I know. He had like a 996.
It was insane.
So, you know, they're doing what they got to do. And, you know, when people are, we got to give them credit because, you know, around here, we definitely point the finger when they're not doing good. But let's get back out to some callers. We're going to go out to New Jersey. King Amin, talk to me.
What's good, fellas? What's good, PPV? Hey, look, I want to throw a curveball. You guys mentioned that cruiserweight. Y'all mentioned that cruiserweight tournament, right?
Yes, sir.
Perhaps there's perhaps there's some shit going down with that in terms of Andre Ward getting, you know, is he out of that Rock Nation deal? I don't want to misspeak. Oh no, that's Cotto out of the Rock Nation deal. Okay, but look, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, allegedly, you know, there's rumors that, you know, he doesn't he has no more fights left. But remember that Ward is at 170. Oh, but you're saying he wanted a cruiserweight title, right? Well, damn, that would be another Super 6 cruiserweight for him. That would be tough. That would be nice though. Good idea.
So this is that's where I'm going with it. What if he's kind of like weighing his odds, and he mentioned cruiserweight, right? And he's trying to do another Super 6 type, clean out another division and really plant his flag. That way he jumps into cruiserweight, he lines up X amount of fights, so that way his contract aligns with, you know, some decent paydays, and then he walks away. I don't really think he's seriously going to heavyweight. Maybe just throwing that out there is you know, bait, but I think he's gearing up for another Super 6 type run, fellas.
That would be history making without a doubt. I mean, that would show some tremendous size cojones. That is a good idea. Let's see if he listens to the show and takes it, or was he already thinking that? Because you're right, he did mention cruiserweight. Matt, what do you think about Amin's idea? That's pretty. I mean, if you're Ward, but I guess, listen, you're still a boxer. This is still a business. If you're gonna go to cruiserweight, you're better off trying to do the Ricky Conlan fight. No, you do the Ricky Conlan fight. You gotta
do that at heavyweight. Doesn't matter. I know you do that fight, but you do that at heavyweight regardless, because the title of heavyweight fight just seems sexier. It does. Come on, we have to be honest about it.
I mean, but we could be realistic.
Nobody cares about the cruiserweight division. Nobody cares about this. Nobody cares. Nobody caars about cruiserweight anyway.
We will care if a gold medalist moved up to a third weight division where there's some considered, at least, you know, not monsters, but definitely some guys in there, bro.
We named 3 out of the 4 champions at cruiserweight, and I guarantee 99% of the U.S. population does not know who those people are.
Okay, but guys like you shouldn't be dismissive because you're the hipster. You need to.
I'm just saying, if you're going to make that much of a calculated risk, you're going to go for the most reward possible when you make that type of risk. So you're going to go to heavyweight just to have it, just to say you had a heavyweight fight, to say you did things like what Roy Jones did. You're going to do that. You're not going to stop at cruiserweight or even, you know, waste your time with cruiserweight. That's too much danger, low reward.
History to these young guys is wasting time now, Andre Ward. Don't you worry about it. We're going out to the UK, I believe. If not, help me out. Hey, Jacob, you look like your first-time caller. Are you? Yes or no?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, brother. First time calling in?
No, I've called in once before, maybe about a year ago.
All right, brother. Well, talk to us. What's on your mind?
Who is your first caller? You called him Coach?
Yes, Coach Mitty from the UK.
Okay, yeah, no, he was on point with that, you know, Heather Hardy thing. I'm sad for her having to go fight in the cage to get the exposure she deserves, but so props to him for making that comment. AB versus Mikey Garcia. I love it. The 5-to-1 odds, that's super interesting. But people are saying, you know, where did that come from? I know exactly where it come from. You sneak past Granados while Mikey absolutely flat. So that's exactly where it comes from, coming off a recent form. Mikey's sizzling hot. AB's just putting along, keeps promising up he's going to get focused. We're not seeing it yet. So, yeah. In Colorado, that's great. but still, you know, you can only go on form. And when you're squeaking past mid-level guys, you know, yeah, that's what's going to happen when you get announced against Mikey Garcia. It's going to be 5-1. So, you know, I hope AB does well, wins this fight, then gets the Pacquiao fight. You know, I love the guy. He's obnoxious. He's hilarious. He's lovable. Yeah, wish him all the best. But I just wanted to say on that 5-1. Yeah, I know exactly why it's 5-1. It's not really that crazy. But anyway, yeah, appreciate it, guys. Great show. That's my call.
Appreciate you, Jacob. Thank you for calling in and being part of the show. We're gonna head on out to our social media content manager and alumni of the show from, what is it, North Cal, right? The Bay Area. Where's this guy from?
Fresno.
I won't deny it.
Dollar DiBiase Productions.
Come with me. Hail Mary, run quick, see what do we have here now?
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Dollar DiBiase Productions.
What's up, guys? Man, glad to have a show. Glad to be on it. Hey, I'm excited, man. I'm excited about the Pacquiao on July 1st, top rank on ESPN. I'm excited about Bounce TV. Bounce TV on June 30th, having Robert Easter balance that IBF title, defending that. I'm excited about all the Rigo and Loma talk. I hope that happens. Add to this year of boxing that we've already had. I do have a question for you guys though. How much money do I need to put on Mayweather, man? The house or what?
Bro, you got to put up like 10,000 to make 1,000, but or 800. But at least you know it's probably like the surest you're ever gonna be of a win. I mean, you get. At the end of the day, you're a boxing fan for how many years now? Like, I'm not telling anybody to take out a second loan or a credit line on their house, but you've been a boxing fan for 15 years at least. I mean, can a guy that's never been in a boxing ring beat what we consider one of? We're not going to get into antics and technicalities so that we can argue with, you know, either hipsters or hardcore or you know, Flomos or Pac. No. One of the best. Could someone just come off the street? I mean, damn, that's like saying that, you know, anybody could just pick up a baseball bat and beat fucking Sammy Sosa's home run record or whatever, like without ever being in the triple A's or anything. Yeah, Matt, call it what you want, but you're the only MMA guy. I want to see you put some money on McGregor. Don't play sound bites. Play money sound bites on McGregor. Say you're putting money on McGregor. Say you like those odds.
I'm not paying.
Exactly. So then, you know, well, then I'm right. You should be playing some fucking coins over here because I'm telling my guys, go ahead and get a credit line. Fuck that. You know, if you got to hit a loan shark up, hit a loan shark, because how could Floyd lose this one? Really? It would be disrespectful to
Floyd doesn't lose. Floyd doesn't lose. Everybody that's been in the ring hasn't beaten him. No matter how bad you wanted him to lose, not you, but I'm just saying, like in the public, whoever wanted him to lose, he never loses. So I already told the wife. I said, listen, I'm putting money down. I'm taking Mayweather all day, and that's what I got to say about Mayweather McGregor. Hey, did you catch Devin Haney?
Nah, man, off TV.
Matt?
No, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't on TV. I had to go on the internet, find something. It looked good though. It looked real good.
Dude, the kid's like 15
and
and 0.
I gotta do some more homework on this.
He's like 15 and 0 at this point.
Yeah, now he's 16.
I know. I wonder what he's gonna do. He still hasn't signed with anyone. He's got all these off TV fights. I don't know.
He needs to sign.
I think he's trying to do what Saddam Ali did. Saddam Ali waited around this time and tried to show the promoters, like, hey, look, I bring a fan base. I got that amateur background. And you know what? To be honest with you, Devin Haney's done a way better job than what Saddam Ali did trying to build himself. I mean, Haney is popular. Like,
he's popular within boxing, though.
I don't know, bro. The dude is doing numbers. I want to see, you know, his fights are sold out. He's performing the way he should. And it's no different than Earl Spence. Like, yeah, no one's saying that he's a killer in terms of power, but the skills are there. He's in there with Mayweather. He's in there with every name you could think of. You know what I mean? He's been in there already. Multiple rounds. Huh?
I want to see him on TV.
Well, you could always see him versus Sean Porter and see how well he did. I mean, what is he now? 17? Just think about that for a second. We're talking about a 2-division champion or a 2-time champion or fuck it, 1 time that defended it a couple of times until he lost it to 1 time. And Haney's doing good on our YouTube channel with Sean Porter in terms of sparring, you know, able to keep his composure. Definitely ahead of his time, man. I'm interested in seeing what else we get from him. Alex, you all done?
Yeah, I'm all done, man. Great show.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for calling in. We're going out to Baltimore, 443. You're live on TBV. Who's this? First time caller? 443. Going once. Going twice. We're going to J. Will in Ohio.
You know like I know, you should lie low. I used to get it in Ohio.
J. Will. Uh-oh. Going to Fish in Boston.
Hey, what's going on, Ness?
What's up, Fish?
So, to answer the questions that have been asked, biggest underdog, McGregor, Broner. To me, they're both tremendous underdogs. I don't see one being worse, to be honest with you. Broner has failed and been completely vulnerable when he's fighting a guy with huge power. Garcia is a huge power puncher, and he's fighting the wrong Garcia. We all know we want to see Broner, Danny Garcia. I mean, Mikey Garcia, I was looking forward to him fighting a guy like Lainez personally. That's not going to happen. Going into the tournament, if I can see Usyk and Garcia, that I'm sold. And I actually enjoy the fact that they're doing 2 divisions that really don't get a lot of respect. The cruiserweight division, there's a lot of ducking going around. There has been for a long time. I think it's more like territorial, where it's really Euro-based. In terms of Ward Kovalev 2, that thing had horrendous promotion and humongous distractions with Canelo Triple G announcement and then Mayweather McGregor announcement. They really needed that face-off, and it didn't happen. I need to see Ward Stevenson right now. That's the fight I want to see. I don't want to see Ward do anything else. I want him to prove that he can box off this guy. In terms of Rigo and Lomachenko, I have a great fight. I would love to see that fight. I don't need to see it at a catchweight. I don't understand. Lomachenko is becoming the Canelo Alvarez of like the lower weight class, whereas everybody is just calling him out just to say his name. Rigondeaux's calling him out. He's calling him out as catchweight. Lomachenko is talking about moving up. So why the hell would he move down at a catchweight to move up again? Terry Flanagan's been calling Lomachenko out for the longest time. That fight, to me, makes more sense for Lomachenko business-wise because now he can move up and fight a champion. You know, we know Flanagan's fighting Verdejo. But, I mean, that fight, to me, doesn't really make a heck of a lot of sense. I feel like Rigondeaux should be calling out guys like Ray Vargas and Magnolino. We're probably not going to see that, but him calling out Santa Cruz makes more sense to me, even though we know that all those guys are busy.
You realize that you realize that Rigondeaux offered to go up to 130 to fight Lomachenko, which is not a catchweight.
No, I mean, I get that. What I'm saying is Lomachenko's been saying for a year now that he wanted to really fight Salido, called out Corrales. That didn't happen. Then he's going to move up.
Who's a better fighter in your opinion? Very quickly, Who's a better fighter in your opinion, Salido or Rigondeaux?
Who's a better fighter?
Yeah, Rigondeaux or Salido?
I believe Rigondeaux is a better fighter, but Salido's going to be a bigger draw. More people have seen him, and he's not as boring.
That's very arguable.
That's my opinion. I mean, if you're going to tell me that Rigondeaux's a draw,
no, neither of them are draws.
I can't argue that Rigondeaux's a draw for sure. But Fish, let me get to some other callers.
Nobody in those divisions are stars. So the idea of like somebody's a money fight. No one in that division's a money fight. Nobody in those divisions are money fights.
Well,
so the idea that you can hide behind the idea that one fighter is bigger than the other, so therefore he shouldn't fight a tougher competition, makes zero sense to me.
Well, Lomachenko is the name in that division.
Yeah, but it's not like he's a star. Like, come on, we have to stop acting like these guys. And even brought up how like Lomachenko is the Canelo of the low weight classes. Like Lomachenko has no right to act like that. None of these guys have the right to act like that.
He's getting a bigger paycheck and he's able to dictate. So I mean, I think.
I mean, is he getting a bigger paycheck than some of these guys? Did he get a bigger paycheck than Carl Frampton or Leo Santa Cruz in their rematch? I don't know. I don't know their financial dealings that well. I don't look at their pocketbooks like that. I'm just saying that none of these guys are the level of star to where they can dictate, oh, well, this is the money fight, so therefore I don't need to fight the tougher competition.
All right. Well, let's get out to Fly Ellie from Denver.
Yeah. What's up, Ness? How you guys doing? It's Fly Guy Eli for the 8th time, Ness.
Well, that's the producer's fault.
So wait, what's your name?
Fly Guy.
Sorry.
Fly
Eli.
Guy Eli.
No, it is Fly Eli.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother.
Yeah, it's Fly Guy Eli. Yeah. Yeah. On this Adrien Broner, Mikey Garcia fight. The last time Adrien Broner fought with Granados, I got on the show and I had put it out there that Adrien Broner was going to fight Mikey Garcia at a catchweight. You guys sounded like you guys thought I was crazy. You can go back to that show and check that out, because I did call it that Adrien Broner was going to fight Mikey Garcia at a catchweight, and we were just throwing out there all the fights that were possible for him to fight, at a 147, and we said that there was nobody out there that Adrien Broner can beat, and we were just throwing names out there. I said he would fight Mikey Garcia at a catchweight, just to throw that out there. Not that it matters, but as far as the 5-1 odd on that fight, that is a crazy odd. That's crazy. The only reason why it's 5-1 is because Adrien Broner is outside the ring antics. That's why that's 5-1, and he's just not disciplined enough at this point. But he's out here in Colorado in the Springs, and I've been checking his Instagram out, and it seems like he's doing his thing out here. He's doing a lot of things that might change up those odds on that fight. And the fact that he doesn't like you, Nash, that doesn't help, huh? that was just a joke, man. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
McGregor.
I might have to take a chance, bro. He gave me an invite. I'm gonna have to take a chance and see, was he bluffing me?
Nah, I was just throwing that out. I was just bullshitting you, Ness, man. He just messes with you, man, because you just throw all those tough questions at him, the real true questions. But yeah, as far as that McGregor Mayweather fight, yeah, the odds are right in play, and you know what? He has a 0 chance of winning. I say if it goes anything past 4 rounds, he has no chance whatsoever. But within 3 rounds, I think he does have a 1% puncher's chance to catch Mayweather. But like everybody has said, all the best of the best is tried, and they can't get it done. So I don't see how McGregor's just going to go up in there and catch him with the left, because that's all he has is a left hook or a left uppercut chance.
Fly Guy Eli, thanks for calling in, brother. Matt, since we're still kind of talking Mayweather McGregor, and you see that. I mean, obviously our title has McGregor's name, so our callers are going to bring him up. It would be interesting to do another little survey when we don't have a McGregor name in the title to see does his name to continue to come up. But being as though we are discussing him, I don't know if you've seen, but your favorite writer had it out with the promoter of this fight. You know, Dan Rayfield tweeted out something.
I have no idea who you're going to mention for my favorite writer. Dan Rayfield, really? Like,
tweeted out something like, "Oh, my thoughts on this circus or whatever."
I did see that. That was insane.
I'm paraphrasing here, all right? So he said, "My thoughts on this circus that is Mayweather McGregor." So Leonard Ellerby tweets him back. I'm such a little gossip whore. This is what I do for you guys, you see? So fucking cherish this podcast. Yo, he's all like, "Oh, so I shouldn't he said, should we not accommodate you then for the event?" And he was like, "Of course not." Right?
What an idiot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because yo, ESPN has been covering Mayweather McGregor more than any other publication in the world.
Of course they are. It's the biggest event of the year.
Look, I'm not trying to, make enemies or ruffle feathers or anything like that, but do you think that he obviously isn't going to lose his job, but is he going to be reprimanded for publicly saying he is not going to cover an event for ESPN? Because at the end of the day, he's not his own boss. He's got a contract, and this is the magnitude of this event. I mean, if he doesn't show, I don't know.
Look, I'm not going to speak on what ESPN is going to reprimand him because I have no idea what his contract is. I have no idea what sort of editorial freedom he has.
All right. Do you think that his contract is stated he gets to pick and choose what fights he could cover?
That's possible. That's very possible, I would say. But anyways, I think the bigger question is how, as a journalist or a member of the media, do you shoot yourself in the foot like that for this big of an event? Regardless of what you think about this event, we all want to be there and cover it. Let's be completely honest. The idea of being able to interview Mayweather and McGregor in this event and the numbers it will do, it's salivating for everybody in the media. And for Dan Rayfield to push that aside when he is ESPN is one of the stupidest career moves I've ever seen from anyone in the media.
Why are you not calling him bold? Why are you not calling him bold for being a hardcore and putting his foot down and saying this isn't a boxing match?
I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if that's your opinion. The amount of eyes that are going to watch this event and you being responsible to tell that story. That's your job, is to tell the story. Regardless of your feelings on the story, your job is to tell the story. And he's not going to tell it. Why? Because his purist sensitivities are triggered by this event. Too bad. We're going to get maybe a 5 million pay-per-view buy rate for this event. This could break every sort of record we've ever thought about when it comes to combat sports. And he wants to get his panties in twist about this. I think it's just ridiculous. I do. I think it's just I can't believe that he shot himself in the foot like this. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I would like to see what happens. I doubt that anything does come from it. Even if it does, I doubt that we'd be privy to it. We're going to keep the phone lines moving. We're going out to the 845. Looking like a first-time caller. If you are, let us know. We're going to play this first-time caller introduction. And then after that, you just let us know your name and where you're calling from and get right into your opinion. 845, you're up.
Hello?
Yes, sir. First time calling in?
Yeah, my name is Ziggy. How are you?
I'm good. Let me go ahead and play this first time caller intro. When you just introduce yourself, let the world know where you're calling from and what your name is.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his professional debut.
Hello, my name is Ziggy.
Ziggy?
Yes.
Where are you calling in from, Ziggy?
New York.
New York, New York, big city of dreams. Talk to us, Ziggy. What's on your mind?
No, I want to talk about the Mayweather-McGregor fight. I'm going to let you know right now. First of all, Carter won't even have the stamina to pass 3 or 4 rounds.
But Ziggy, he's used to going 5-minute rounds, brother. 5 of those.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. When he fought Nate Diaz the first time, after the first round, he was exhausted, just throwing punches at Nate Diaz. And he would have been knocked out if he didn't shoot for Nate Diaz. And that's why he got choked out, because he quit. There's no way that McGregor's going to go 3 to 4 rounds trying to throw punches and miss air. He's going to get exhausted, and Miller's going to hit him in the body and just finish him off.
Well, Ziggy, thank you for calling in. Listen, you need to subscribe here to the YouTube channel because we do numerous shows throughout the week, and you want to stay informed. Ziggy from New York, New York, thank you for calling in. We're going out to Orlando, Florida. Florida being the home of Border Wars. Head on over to ThaBoxingVoice.com/Border Wars for more on that. Majid, talk to me in Florida. Damn, Majid. Man, that's a Metro right there. Metro PCS right there. I got you, Majid. Next time, then, we're going to 760-44. 760-44. First time caller, yes or no? 760. 760-445. No, all right. 816. First time caller.
No, I ain't no first time caller, man. Phone went down with my phone. It's Kansas City Mac, man. I'm back.
Kansas City Mac, what's up, brother?
Yeah, man. Let me talk about McGregor and Floyd. Let me ask you this question. For Matt. This one's for Matt.
Get away from that phone just a little bit. This new phone has definitely got a good speaker, so you're coming in a little bit muffled. Are you there, Mac? And he flatlined. We're going. Look at Kansas City Mac calling me back. We're going out to some alumni real quick. Let me head on out to.
Yo, first of all, let me say, I don't play Showtime to see you all there, not even putting a goddamn motherfucking effort. If I want to see some motherfucker just fight, I pick up a fight with somebody in the street. Don't need that shit. You don't love that form I do? Just move along. Gone. Fuck you. Next, what a great show. Thumbs up, donate. What's happening, people?
What's up, Georgie?
What up, Georgie Porgy?
What up, man? Yo, man, what's up with the reptilians from fucking Vegas? These fucking odds against Adrien Broner, bro. That shit is crazy. How the fucking hell McGregor gonna have a better shot? That's just insane, man. Insanity. Listen, I'm picking AB. Write me down. I think Mikey's in danger, bro. AB look a lot bigger. A lot of people for a long time on the show used to say, Broner can do 130. He can go down to these weights. Oh, but he 147. Yeah, but he just because he's not dedicated. But if Broner put his mind and make the weight, I'm telling you, bro, Mikey's in danger. So write me down. God bless. And thumbs up.
Georgie, thanks for calling in. We're going to, looks like Majid is back. Talk to me.
I'm gonna get my take on it here, and I just feel like he an underdog, and I guess people got a legit argument saying that he do all this shit outside the ring, but in the ring, other than Sean Porter and McDonald at 147, this dude did what he had to do, whether it was pretty or ugly. So I'm just saying that people don't need to sleep just because they see an Owen Garcia record and get ready, because this shit gonna be hard, and I'm going for Broner by decision. That's all I got.
Majid, as always, thanks for calling in. We're going to Kansas City Mac. He's back.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back, man. Some technical difficulties. Kansas City Mac is back. This one's for Matt. Uh, He said MMA guy. I just got a question for him. McGregor, if he was so nice, if he's so great, why he didn't just start off in boxing, just rip through the divisions, and then that's my question for McGregor. Because at first I didn't think this fight was going down. I thought it was a circus. I didn't call it in so many times saying it was going to be a circus, but it's official, stamped approved. So, I'm going with money. So that being said, I'm gonna go with Broner on that. It's gonna be a split decision if he can get all the antics out of his life, but I doubt it. Still go in there and do his thing. But I don't think he gonna last too, so I'm just gonna go split decision. I'm iffy on Broner. So Matt, let me hear what you got with McGregor. Why he didn't start off in boxing if he's so great?
Hold on. I'm never gonna be one here to say that McGregor is such a God's gift that he can go in there and beat Mayweather. I hope that you don't think that, or anyone else thinks that listens or calls into the show. But maybe a more nuanced answer would be that similar for like people like Heather Hardy. Why is she going into MMA now? Even though she is obviously a much more talented boxer than she is an MMA fighter. It's because there's more money in MMA. That's just a reality right now. At the time that McGregor was beginning his career, boxing was really dead, I would say, in the UK. You had the end of the Ricky Hatton era, and there was a big dip. MMA was not necessarily taking off, but it was getting bigger. The UFC was doing cards in Dublin. They did the first card in Dublin. They were doing cards in the UK. You had Michael Bisping. So there was more of a palpable sense that MMA is bigger than boxing circa 2010 to 2013, I would say. And that was the rise of McGregor, where he was, I believe the rumor is that he did do some amateur boxing fights. I know that Michael Conlon was telling me about them. I have not seen any.
It was Ireland.
Yeah. Amateur fights in Ireland. I have no idea if those are true or not. Again, Michael Conlon was telling me about it. But I would say that there's just more money in MMA right now. MMA is a bigger industry. It's more unified. It's more, there's more singularity.
What do you mean there's more money in MMA?
Are you serious? More money?
If the biggest guy in MMA
Time out. Overall, for the mid-tier guy, for the guy that's a top 20 fighter, the top 25 fighter, there was more money in MMA than in boxing. Absolutely. At the very top, you're absolutely right. Boxing, of course, is number one. You have more consistent $1 million guarantee payouts in boxing than MMA. Absolutely. But the overall landscape, there is more money in the MMA industry as a whole. Maybe not to the fighters, but MMA industry is bigger. It was bigger in those years. Circa 2008 to 2013, there was a period of time where boxing dipped a bit and MMA sort of overtook it, especially in the U.S. market. Especially in
this coming from a guy that does a MMA podcast, you know what I'm saying? Because you leave it to us. 2013, that was a great year.
It was, and that was a changing year for boxing. That, in my opinion, I mean, I think 2013 was one of the best years in the 21st century for the sport. I think people sort of don't understand it in that way and don't put in that context that 2013 really helped the sport of boxing. It did.
All right, let me get out to the 931. 931, first time caller. Nine 3-1.
Yep.
All right, let me go ahead and play this first time caller intro, and you introduce yourself. Let the world know your name and where you're calling from.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his professional debut.
You're up.
Hey.
What is your name, sir?
Ronnie motherfucking Banquo.
Who? 443, you're up.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Baltimore?
Yeah, hey, what's going on, man? This is Juan. I'm staying in LA, but this is still a Maryland number. I just got a few things to say about the Broner situation, and then I want to touch back on that Andre Ward, the pay-per-view buys.
All right, brother, go for it.
All right, so with the Broner odds, I'm not really feeling it too much, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, if you want to keep it a stack, I understand why Broner would be somewhat of an underdog, but 5-1 is ridiculous. I mean, you can look at this man's track record. You know, he lost to Porter, he lost to Mandana, but these are big 147-pounders. You know what I mean? These aren't dudes in 135, 140. Sean Porter's an animal. I mean, you can see that based off of how he fought Berto. He kept Keith Thurman on his toes. That was an arguable fight. And the fact that not only did Broner put him down in the 12th round, a lot of people feel like if he was more active throughout the fight, he would have had a better showing. In addition to that, against Marcos Mandana, you know what I mean? He got his ass whooped. I'm not gonna lie to you, but he got his ass whooped. But throughout the fight, he was taking it to Mandana. Like, Broner's not no sucker. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of these casual fans, they look at Broner and they look at his attitude and the way he goes about things and, you know, throwing money in the air and shit like that. They don't like that, and that's understandable. You feel me? But you can't penalize him for being him as much as it is the fact that he's actually a good boxer. I mean, you can look at 135 and 140. Broner was eating niggas. Like, no bullshit. Like, and then not to mention, Mikey Garcia is coming up. If you want to be real with it, man, it's a 50-50 fight. You know, Broner struggles with swarmers, and Garcia is not a swarmer. He's very calculated and he does punch hard, but he's not as fast as Broner. He's not as athletic. And no, Broner's chin has been tested as well, and that's my little bit on that. But as far as the war with the pay-per-view buys, I mean, Ward, like Matt said earlier in the broadcast, I mean, he's pound for pound the best boxer. He's shown that. But the thing that penalizes Ward is he's not a superstar in the sport. He doesn't have the personality, and he's not that marketable because he's not very outgoing. You know what I mean? He's a good dude. He's a humble dude. But wherever he goes at this point, he's going to struggle because he doesn't have the name to back him. But I'm sorry for him to a certain extent because, especially once Floyd being out of the sport. By the way, on another note, that McGregor-Mayweather fight is bullshit. I don't even know why it's going on, to be honest with you. I mean, it's obvious Mayweather going to win on that, but, I mean, it's a win-win for McGregor because even if he loses, he's still getting cashed out. And if he wins, he's going to be the biggest face in contact sports, but that's dead. But, yeah, that's really what I wanted to say as far as that's concerned, man. But it's a good show. I'm liking what I'm hearing, and it seems that you guys are very, very knowledgeable boxer, man.
Well, we appreciate the call. Could you give us your name and where you're calling from again so we could get you down, man? And you should subscribe to the channel because we definitely do a bunch of spontaneous shows. We're here every Thursday and Sunday, without a doubt, at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But throughout the week, we just report on multiple topics in boxing periodically. So what'd you say your name was?
Juan. That's J-U-A-N. I'm calling from L.A. I got this Maryland number, though.
All right, Warren from LA. Thank you, Warren, for calling in, brother. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get those notifications. We're going out to the United Kingdom. We got David Beanie on the track. Talk to me.
Hey, guys. I just want to say I'm not really surprised about the Ward Kovalev buys. I think it was probably one of the worst promotions I can remember. I mean, like, I don't know if you've seen one of Eddie Hearn's IFL interviews, but he said, like, if you've got two guys that don't like each other, put them together as much as possible. That's how you create the hype, and obviously you get that, animosity shows at the press conference. Kind of like, one of the big fights that I can remember that kind of came out of nothing was, Tony Bellew and David Haye. When Haye punched him at the press conference, it was everywhere. And, I wasn't really particularly interested in that fight. I don't think many people were. And all of a sudden, you had that spark, and all of a sudden comes a big fight. And they basically didn't meet at all in the build-up, and I think they ruined that fight. But the other quick point I want to make is Josh Kelly. I've watched all of his three fights so far, and he's honestly, in my opinion, the best British prospect since like Joe Calzaghe, Prince Nassim Hamed. That's how good I That's like honestly, he's if you go back and watch his first couple of fights, some of the things he can do are pretty special. I mean, actually doing that against top level opposition is a different story, but kind of potential wise, he can do some special things. And apparently he already spars Billy Joe Saunders, who's obviously a middleweight, and Andy Lee, who's middleweight, and obviously they're both current and former world champions. And middleweight, he's only going to be a welterweight, and he already gives as good as he gets against those guys. So he can already mix it against kind of world level opposition at 2 weights above him. So I think he's certainly for me the pick of the kind of our Olympians over here, the 5 Olympians that turn pro. And the only other Olympians that I've seen are Shakur Stevenson and Michael Conlon. I can't think of any other Olympians that turned pro since 2012, but he's the most impressive that I've seen out of anyone who's turned pro recently. So, yeah, I don't know whether you guys have any thoughts about that.
Well, yeah, we spoke about Kelly earlier in the show, so you're gonna have to hit rewind, David. But I don't know if you're making it from 2012. Well, then that's a little bit different because there's a lot of Olympians. Earl Spence being included in that 2012 bracket. I thought
that's not what he said.
What? Why you keep tapping your mic? You might as well get a soundbite that says, "Is this thing on?"
Well, I'm making sure because there's this echo that I cannot stand, and I don't know why it's there. Anyways, I think he's saying that from 2012, so after the 2012 Olympic year, the notable guys since that Olympics are Shakur Stevenson, Michael Conlon, and he's saying Josh Kelly as well.
But that's what I'm saying. Since the 2012 Olympics, it's a lot more people. The 2012 had the bracket of Earl Spence.
Including that. He's saying after.
Okay, so you're saying it's 2016.
But he's just saying the 2016 one, I believe.
All right. Well,
that's how I interpreted what he was saying. Because 2012 had a ton of great prospects that are still fighting right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Speaking of, this isn't a topic, but again, me being in the gym more is just making it better for the show. Marcus Brown, 2012 Olympian, no medal, moving along pretty good. Has scalps like Campillo, Thomas Top Dog Williams. Who else he's got on there, producer?
Those are the notable names, obviously. I know he's fighting Shawnee Monahan next, I believe, in August.
Yes. Now, I'm going to say this on record. I'm going to pick Brown, and he has to do it in exciting fashion because for a long time, I'll be honest with you, not very many people thought highly of Monahan. And I probably was a guy that once upon a time said, someone like Pascal 3-4 years ago would have been a dangerous fight for Monahan. I remember Monahan calling out Pascal a lot, kind of being in those rankings when he was with Top Rank. But Monahan never has had that Joe Smith fight. Joe Smith has given us those fights where we're like, hey, he's the real goods. He's the real deal. He's faced certain guys. He's had those barometer fights. Monahan is undefeated and he hasn't done that. And the guys that he's been fighting, we would expect Marcus Brown to run through. Now, Monahan is a blue collar guy. My perception of Monahan has obviously changed a lot. I probably would have said things that would have been offensive in the past. And now I understand, looking through a different light, that, dude, this guy's blue collar. He's been able to do it. He doesn't have that much amateur background to speak of, but he's up here. He's climbed the ranks. And again, he's floated around the big names in the past. Never really got him. It's kind of like that Vanez Martirosyan thing, except Martirosyan obviously does have a lot of amateur background and people spoke about him. Yeah, he's got scalps on as an Olympian, as an amateur. He defeated a lot of people we know, like Demetrius Andrade, Bradley. Yeah, and he's been in there with decent pros, to prove his worth. But Marcus Brown is 19-0, 14 KO. So being 19-0 and enrolled in VADA and having Top Dog on your record. Now, I'm gonna have to get Jeffrey to pronounce this name because I don't want to mess it up because he did do well in this fight, and this is a fight that some people think Marcus lost.
I'm included in those people.
Jeffrey, help me here. Fucking guy sleeping.
Should definitely fire Jeffrey. Laziest employee of the Boxing Voice.
It's really not working right now. I don't know. All right. Well, I'm gonna just say Hot Rod is his name.
Now go for it. Go for it, Ness. Come on.
No, Roddy Vogel. Rod. I don't know. I think it's like
Post in the chat. I'll try it. I'll try
no,
it.
I think it's. I remember he put out. You know, he. You know, I'm horrible for not being able to memorize it because he's told me like 3 or 4 times. But let's just go with Hot Rod. You know, that's his ring name. His, you know, what he walks into the ring as, or his ring walk name, or whatever they call it. And you know, it's like Kalochedic or something like that is the last name. But whatever, you know, whatever. Seeing him fight that fight at the Barclays Center, knowing that, you know, I believe Brown went down in that fight one time.
Yes, he did.
Brown is a southpaw as well. And, you know, he was in there with Hot Rod. We didn't know Hot Rod in terms of fight fans, but, you know, through the gyms and the trainers, you know, they told me he had some skills. He showed them, right? So you got to give, you know, Marcus some sort of credit, whether you feel he won or lost, right? He was in there with that pretty hot prospect, pun intended. Gabriel Campillo, good scalp. Cornelius White, good scalp. Aaron Pryor Jr., good scalp. Now, those are, excuse me?
What about Monahan?
Well, Monahan. Oh, we're dealing with Brown because obviously I'm in the gym with him, right? So, these aren't the best names, but these are great names for a prospect. That's 19-0. You know, we're talking about essentially. And depending who you are, you might throw Francisco Sierra in. It depends how much of a hardcore you are, right? But let's just go with like the last 3 years worth of you know, fight fans that know the last 3 years of boxing. Top Dog, Hot Rod, Campillo, and again Aaron Pryor, Cornelius White. It depends how hardcore of a hardcore you are. You know,
and very quickly, if you notice his trajectory and who he's fought is very similar to his sort of Olympic stablemate Earl Spence. Thomas Top Dog Williams could be like the Chris Algieri of the group. You know, like there are obvious comparisons.
Top Dog didn't. Algieri at least won that title from Ruslan.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that thought Ruslan won that fight. So I understand. I understand that Chris Algieri may be at a different level than even Top Dog William, but there is a similar pattern with their progression, I would say.
Absolutely. I would say that it's definitely dialed a step back for Marcus. Obviously, you know, because
small step, but yeah, and it is a step. I mean, Earl Spence went from Bundu.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it was. Maybe they didn't even take a step back because I know that, you know, some would argue, hey, Thomas Williams Jr., he doesn't have a chin, and that's why they put him in there. But at the same time, you know, Al Heyman's looking at it like, hey, Marcus essentially lost his last fight, you know. And he put him in there with a puncher because that's what Thomas is. So it's still more of that UFC model, best fighting the best, I think, in my opinion. Now, Monahan, all right. So, yeah, let's get into Monahan, then we'll get into what I seen and was privy to in the gym. Is that because of his record?
Just because of
the names?
Yeah, I mean, name some of the names. Name some of the notable guys that Monahan has beaten.
I mean, I'm a hardcore delight. You know what I mean? And Anthony Caputo Smith, I know him. I'm not saying that he's good at all. I know him, and you know, that's it. He's not good. He's just, I know him.
The club fighter.
But the biggest name, we'll do it this way to not be disrespectful. The biggest name on his resume is Donovan George. That is a good name to have. Donovan's been in there. What?
It's not awful.
Yeah, no. It's a good name. It's a good name. Donovan, look, I'm gonna click on it, but without clicking on it, I'm gonna tell you right now. I know he has Edwin. He's fought Edwin Rodriguez. He's fought Adonis Stevens. He's fought. I don't know, maybe one more.
I'll give him that. That's like the Blake Campillo win for Marcus Brown, in my opinion.
Well, Campillo was more achieved. He accomplished more than Donovan George. Campillo was the IBF at one time, I believe. He might have been an IBF champion or at least fought for an IBF title, something like that. Campillo's been around for a while. He was signed to Maravilla and Samson Lewickovic. But to be honest, Donovan George has more names on his resume, whether it's win and loss, than Monahan does. So the win that Monahan holds over Donovan George, it kind of means something. Now, he did get Donovan George at the end of his career, right? But he also was the first guy to give Donovan George a loss coming off of, since his loss to Truax, where he was at least able to get one win versus Troy Lowry, then a no contest with Daya Davis, which is also a decent name, Daya Davis, but it was turned to a no contest. I don't remember why, but then the very next fight was Monahan who gave him the loss. And after that, he's been on a 4-fight losing streak. Donovan George, he's lost to Trevor McCumbee, who's actually a top-ranked prospect, Lionel Thompson, Mayweather prospect, Shawnee Monahan, obviously, contender, maybe contender by Top Rank or PBC at this point. And Derek Finley, veteran, beat 26-21-1, and he beat Donovan George. So Donovan George is definitely on the tail end of his career. Now, to get into Marcus Brown, that was just all to give you background information and kind of like put you, I guess, where it's at. Marcus is going from here. Where he goes is Adonis Stevenson. Obviously, he's in that PBC Al Heyman world where the biggest carrot in the 175-pound division is obviously Adonis Stevenson. Can you think of anything better for Marcus Brown? If he could get this win, obviously, Matt.
Other than Adonis Stevenson?
Yeah, isn't that
the best option for him, in my opinion? I think that would be the fight to take after this. Again, using the theme of the Earl Spence trajectory and Marcus Brown sort of copying that. When we had Earl Spence fight Algieri, he took a step backwards, I think, in most people's opinions, and fought Bundu. Why? Because Bundu had a connection with champions, similar to Algieri. And that connection was obviously with Keith Thurman, and now we have Earl Spence on that line to fight Keith Thurman, even though they fought Cub Brook. But anyways, with Marcus Brown, he's taking a step backwards from Thomas Top Dog Williams, in my opinion, to get a guy that was in connection to fight Adonis Stevenson. I know Thomas Top Dog Williams actually fought Adonis Stevenson, so there's that connection already, but it's further building that narrative of him coming after Adonis Stevenson. He's fought his leftovers. Now he's fighting the guy that he was supposed to fight in Nassau Coliseum. I think that's what it is.
Maybe it's a buildup. Like, you get him in there with the guy that was supposed to draw Adonis from Quebec or Montreal, Quebec over here. And you get Marcus, who is a Staten Island, New York native, to come to Nassau, beat the hometown guy, be the new New York City guy, and entice the champion Adonis again to Nassau and capitalize off that Brooklyn, 5-borough, New York City, Manhattan, Bronx market. And you're right.
I think Adonis Stevenson versus Marcus Brown, especially if Marcus Brown beats the hometown crowd favorite of Shawnee Monahan, that seems like a big fight in the tri-state area. May not be a big fight in boxing, but it's a big fight in that area.
Anything to do with PBC, I would call them up. I would say, look, do this one in Quebec. Let Marcus go on the road. Because it's just bigger. They're going to do at least 20,000 seats over there. But I just want to give you credit on saying that Monahan seems to be a step back. Just going according to BoxRec rankings, Thomas Top Dog Williams Jr. is still a 20 ranked fighter, and Monahan being 26, while Marcus is as high as a 10. People in front of Marcus are Better Beef, John Pascal, Nathan Cleverly, Alexander Godchek or Goodbeck, and Eldelier Alvarez, Joe Smith Jr., Sergey Kovalev, Adonis Stevenson, Andre Ward. We chopped it up enough. Let's go out to some callers in between all this rhetoric. Do you got anything before I do? I don't want to leave you words in your mouth.
We have a couple callers left before we wrap it up and head to TBV Overtime. If you do not know what that is, it's our sort of like post-show show where we just sort of
It's our overtime, baby. Then we're
talk about
where it's no holds barred. I mean, you got to listen to an episode to see that it's no holds barred. We talk a little bit of everything, and you'll definitely love it. And if you haven't heard it, you should. And if you haven't, then too bad. We're gonna go to the bully in the UK. Alexander, talk to me.
Mr. Gibbs, how are you, sir?
Great, brother. Another night, another podcast.
Always supporting. And yeah, just on the topic of prospects, there's a man that I must speak about from the UK called Daniel Dubois, heavyweight guy.
19-year-old. Oh my God, that boy is strong. He's no joke. I seen him throwing a fucking 250 to 500 pound heavy bag around like it's nothing. His 1-2 is serious. We're watching him closely, man. You know what he reminds me of? Those old school 1940s, 50s fighters with the fucking with the leather gloves with the fucking the hay coming out of him. That's what he looks. He's got the black bald head. He's tall. He's big as hell. He's already knocked down. He's already knocked down Anthony Joshua in sparring. He's ready.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not ready. Don't get me wrong. I didn't mean that he's ready, but he's ready in terms of like he knows what he wants to do with his life, and boxing is definitely it. There's no signs of like immaturity, not even during his fights. To be 19 years old, I'm very impressed. Believe me, Alexander, my eyes and ears are open when it comes to Dubois.
Yes, a true pugilist in the ring. And like you said, a real throwback to the old heavyweights. And what's very good as well is that Tyson Fury also sparred him and speaks heavily. And the Anthony Joshua knockout, apparently it was one of those ones where they had to get the bath in salts, they had to get the cold water, all of that. So Daniel Dubois, the footwork, the jab, and the level of power, watch out for him. I'm out.
All right, Alexander, just to add to that, I actually read, and we did a show, to be honest with you, where we discussed the Dubois and the Tyson Fury quotes. And Fury said that he gave him 3 rounds of leather, or hell in leather, I believe it was.
No, you're getting it wrong. You're getting it wrong. The Tyson Fury comments were about Anthony Joshua, if you remember that correctly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why it's good to have a fucking co-host. I'll tell you that right now.
Daniel Dubois story, that's to Joshua as well. And again, it's the reverse. Tyson Fury is saying that he got rocked by AJ years ago, and the reverse. I forget who is saying what, but Dubois is saying that he rocked Joshua in sparring years ago.
We're going to Gabe in Salt Lake City. Talk to me. Gabe. Gabe going once, twice. Gary in Dallas. Gary, talk to me. Oh boy, everybody staying asleep on the call time. We're going to Young Tigre in San Antonio.
Nas, what's up, my G?
What up, brother? Talk to me.
Hey, my man, I'm gonna make it real quick for you, man. I know y'all got that boxing voice overtime, man. How do I link up with that?
Got to go to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice and definitely go over the rewards on Patreon. See what is most convenient for you, and you'll receive a link for sure. As long as you're a $3 up pledge, which is our first level anyway. It's $3 a month to join Patreon, and you'll receive a secret bat signal on where and when shows go live and other things. I mean, shit, man. I got like, I don't know, four different 3-round sparring sessions. Matt's got a bunch getting ready for TBV Border Wars. I mean, we got a little bit of everything up here.
Show TBV West Coast Wake and Bake.
That's right.
Definitely watch on Patreon.
Yeah. We also
you
got
right up my alley, my man.
But yes, go to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. If you have any issues, obviously you can hit up either one of us on social media and we can help you out.
Absolutely. And Wake and Bake, guys, that features favorite callers like Santiago, alumni like Info Joe and JP from Long Beach, along with our West Coast, obviously, co-host Matt running the show. And it's exactly what all fight fans would love, right? You're in a garage in the perfect element, you know, boxing,
Surrounded by boxing memorabilia and bags and everything.
bags and gloves and shit. Even some sparring goes down when these guys get into some heated debates. And, you know, like the name of the title, Wake and Bake. So definitely head on over to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. Help us reach our Patreon goals as we continue to provide you with exclusive content that we only put out on Patreon. Like, look, our Deontay Wilder interview, some selected few patrons were definitely part of that live interview and got to hear Deontay in all his glory as it was happening. So definitely, man. And listen, don't forget that, you know, it's not only a way for you to receive exclusive content, but it's also a way to ensure that the podcast that you love and the brand that has been bringing you, you know, breaking news as often as we can do it stays around and continues to provide you with the best. But Matt, it is about that time, my friend. Final thoughts. What are we gonna do? What are your final thoughts, my friend?
No. You know, it was a slow week. Obviously, we had no major fights. I know there's some fights on like CBS Sportsnet and like BN Sports, but
yo, really quick. Oh man, I need to find my backspin, B. That's what I need. Where is my backspin? It would be awesome if I could find it in time to hit Lemon with it. Yo, bring Lemon on for me. See if I can find this thing and while you bring Lemon.
I gotta find Lemon. Hold on. Found you, Lemon.
He's right there. Limon. I don't got no backspin.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, Alex?
I can't find it.
I don't know why I brought you on, but Ness, take it away.
I can't find it. All right, Lemon, what's up with Valdivia? I'm getting texts that Valdivia lost, and you came on the show. You ain't even mentioned nothing, huh? You trying to stay quiet for your boy?
Man. Why you bringing that up for, dude?
Oh, so the rumors are true? The rumors are true?
Not a rumor, man, but yeah, no, it's true. But he's gonna bounce back, man. Champions bounce back.
But
Call him Big Sean.
Up earlier today already.
Yo, he didn't get the loss, so that's a good thing. Listen, Alex, we're gonna get up out of here. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get a chance to catch that one. It was on the Iron Boy stream. You could definitely go to ironboy.com and check it out for yourself, and you know, I guess make your own decision on whether or not you feel he won or lost. Fortuna did get a win. My Dominican brother was out in Santo Domingo abusing somebody, because anytime you go to DR, you're fluffing up records. Tevin Farmer said it. I've been saying it.
Chavez got a win, I believe.
Chavez who?
Diego Chavez. I don't know if he was fighting last weekend or this weekend, but I know he got a win, so shout out to Diego Chavez.
Oh. Yeah, Diego Chavez. I really want to see him back in action for sure. But listen, what else we got?
Well, my final thoughts, because you cut me off for Lemon and
sorry.
It's interesting that the McGregor Mayweather sort of black hole that it is still infecting the boxing voice. It's still infecting all of boxing media. It may be a thing where
use words like infect. Why do you? How is it?
It could be hyperbolic, but I just feel like all boxing news recently is looked through the lens of Mayweather McGregor. But what's the effect that Mayweather McGregor had on this? We are naturally asking that. Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev pay-per-view numbers. I know we didn't dwell on that on the show itself, but we could have. We could have easily talked about how the news breaking of Mayweather McGregor happening the same week as Ward Kovalev definitely took away some of the spotlight.
Yo, is McGregor the guy that could get a controversial win on Mayweather? Could he get a Kovalev Ward win or a Laura
like
Punisher?
Hey, Tony Bellew?
Like, no. See,
that one to me is more likely.
Yeah, but that's legitimate. Like Tony Bellew.
No, that's not legitimate. If guy's on one leg, hold on. If a guy's on one leg,
all right, but he still got to finish him, and he did that. You know what I'm saying? His leg got buzzed. I'm talking about though, like a fight that McGregor does not win, but it's a straight robbery, and simply for the fact of the rubber match and the rematch and the rubber match, really.
Maybe. I mean, I hope not.
Yo, could you imagine Mayweather gets a loss and it's robbery.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Not from McGregor. I can imagine him getting robbed. Yeah, I can imagine anyone getting robbed in this sport in terms of judging. Or
Mayweather McGregor. Forget that anybody. We talking about Mayweather McGregor. Imagine him getting robbed.
Whoever the ref is for that one.
You know who it's gonna be. It's always the same ref, Kenny Bayless, right?
Yeah. Good old Bayless.
He ain't letting. He ain't letting no smoker in there. He ain't letting smoker in there so Conor can actually fight MMA. You kidding me? No way. Conor needs to fucking shock us all and hire like Robert Garcia or Virgil Hunter hired.
He already said he won't do that.
Yeah, but he needs to.
He won't.
Yo, I'm not gonna front though. I'm totally excited. I can't wait for the press conference. When is the fucking press conference? What are they waiting for? It's like June 25th already. We're exactly 2 months away now. 60-something days, bro.
God knows. Again, we have no idea what this contract looks like. I mean, they're not allowed to talk about money.
Who knows with the contract? Who cares?
Time out. We already know that they're not allowed to talk about the money of this fight. Maybe they're not allowed to talk about other things. Maybe McGregor's not allowed to talk about maybe the domestic violence of Mayweather. I mean, that's possible. There could be some sort of restriction on media, on ability to promote this fight. Mainly because if you're Mayweather, why are you giving McGregor shine? And if you have a press conference or any,
that's what he wants. He said. Remember, he said
the event already has shine.
He said that. He said that he's never been able to be in these shoes where his opponent can sell the fight, and he can focus on training. Maybe this is what he wants.
Yeah, maybe we're not going to really have any media for this fight. That's
no fucking way, dude. They automatically did a conference call the day that it got announced. That's almost unheard of. That was beautiful. But listen, I am your host, Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO, and we can converse and kick it there. Or find us right now, what we're late to on Overtime, where we're going to go overtime discussing a bunch of topics on patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. Matt?
You can find me at Matt Hunter, TBV on Instagram, and Mixed Combat News on Twitter. MMA Podcast is Mixed Combat Radio. You can find that on Patreon, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, etc. And again, TBV Overtime. Go to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice to watch that. We out of here.
Peace.